With our kayak trip approaching quickly, we have a lot of planning to do. We talked about our trip on our last outing, but now we have to get to work. Maps, tide charts, and weather have to be evaluated before we can leave. Typically, we like to paddle the barrier islands in Georgia, along with islands in South Carolina and Florida. Over the years, we have documented all of our trips so that we can easily recall and recreate our journeys. It's all part of our sea kayak life.
So do you remember why we started going to the coast of Georgia for our kayak trips?
Well, it wasn't because we knew what we were doing,
We
didn't. But no, we literally just drew a line from Chattanooga, like what's the closest way we can get to the ocean?
Right.
And it was this little place called Tybee Island, which
Yeah.
I had never heard of. But we got lucky because it turned out to be a sea kayaking community.
So lots of information there that we got from
Yeah.
people. And it was right on the coast, and we wanted to go to the coast.
We were pretty familiar with the Atlantic coast from surfing, the way the waves break, the beaches there.
Yeah. And south of Tybee Island is Little Tybee Island.
Right.
And that was the first island that we ever paddled to. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, I felt like freaking Christopher Columbus. I did. Like we got out and it was this desolate island, no one's there. And you're like planting your flag, like you just discovered something. And we were just running around super excited and we probably paddled like 2 miles.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
Yeah, it was a quick paddle, but it was really exciting. So what do you want to do this year? What should we do for our trip?
I have a great idea. So you know how much fun we were having in our old boats?
Yeah.
So what if we go old school, take the old boats to some old places and maybe recreate like those first couple of trips we went on down to Tybee Island?
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, old school. But I do not remember what we did on our first trip. Do you have any clue?
Of course not, but that's why we have all this. Like, look at these old maps that we used to carry on the deck. So we've got all these records, so we'll figure it out.
So we began our planning. Our first trip was in 1998. We started off by going into the surf off of Tybee Island, Georgia. We wanted to get comfortable riding waves and getting rolled. Then we went to Little Tybee Island, crossing the current and going through some turbulent water. The next day, we left the ocean and went to Ebenezer Creek. Steeped in American history, this canopied creek meanders its way to the Savannah River. On the third day, we paddled to Wausau Island in Georgia. This island is a national wildlife refuge. It sports trails and the ruins of a fort from the Spanish-American War.
So we know what we're going to do and where we're going, but what are the sea facts?
Well, it's looking pretty good, and it's so amazing that we can do all of this on a smartphone now, because it used to take these spreadsheets we would make.
I know.
It took a whole week and just to make sure we wouldn't die. But no, the third week in October is looking pretty good. We're going
Okay.
to have the tide going out in the morning and coming back in the afternoon, just what we need. But I'm a little worried about the temperature and the wind. It's going to be cold in the morning and windy, 20 miles an hour.
Oh, I hate the wind. I absolutely hate the wind.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like much fun.
No.
And truthfully, the wind could kick up a current harder than we can paddle against. So we'll have to watch out for that.
So let's pencil that week in, and I think that's our best option right now.
Yeah, we don't have much choice because those are the currents that we need to get where we're going. Also, I hate to say this, but if we're taking these old boats, we better fix them up pretty good so they're seaworthy.
Do a little work.
All right, Bay 2.
Bay 2! All right, we'll put it in. You know how I feel about fire. Well, I was just thinking if there's something to be burned, I'm all for it.
This is super loose.
Oh, it's going to smell bad in here.
It smells terrible. It smells like death.
Oh, gosh.
There it goes. And so this is just an aluminum shaft, but over the years, the sand got in here. Like you can see right there, that just little bits of sand and me going like,
How'd it go again?
let's just spray it down good. I'm actually getting a lot better at this.
It looks like a scar or something, but it looks like it's, at least you don't have those big gouges in there. No, we do have scars.
Our secret weapon.
Go easy on the starch. The thing about 303 is it brings them back to life, but you gotta be careful when you're putting them on the car.
That's true. They get so slippery they'll fall off the car. Or
Fall out of your hands.
Prep work for these trips is very important for our safety. By not having the most current information or by having boat issues can not only ruin the trip, but it could literally jeopardize our lives. Our experiences have taught us that good planning and preparation goes a long way to have a fun and successful trip.
Well, the boats look pretty good.
Yeah, and our plans are all roughed in, assuming the weather holds up.
It's going to be a great adventure and one more chapter of our sea kayak life.